Colin Rugg on X. Just in. Reporters audibly furious after Governor Tim Walz abruptly ends and bolts from his press conference after announcing he was dropping out of the 2026 race. Reporter 1. Are you bleep? Oh, wait, what? Reporter 2. Wow. All right. Reporter 3. I thought you said you were going to take questions. Why didn't you? Oh, man. This guy, he knows, by the way, he knows he's effed.
I'm proud of the way we treat our neighbors. I'm proud of the way that we welcome people to this state. I'm proud of the way that we innovate. And I'm proud of the way that we are optimists for the future. No one's taking this away from us, not the fraudsters.
I will say, just real quick, in my short time on this planet, I have learned that the best thing lefties do is project. Everything they say apply to them every single time.
Certainly not this president, not on my watch. Tomorrow, I'll be back with you. I'll give you an update on America's best paid family medical leave program that is now a week into it.
One final scam before I'm out the door.
And at that time, I'll take all your questions. Thank you all.
So the press was promised he would take questions at this meeting, which is why they all drove there and showed up for this. And he gives like a 20-minute speech and walks away. Imagine driving there, getting your cameras set up, getting all their audio equipment set up, getting your pen and paper, recording, everything all set up. And comes up and does that and just walks away. Like, what a POS.
More tomorrow. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So one guy's like, what?
Wow. All right.
Wow. All right.
Thank you, press. You said you were going to take questions. Why didn't you?
Thank you all. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
All these people, by the way, are in on it. Like, if I was one of these people, I'd walk up and I'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry. This guy's losing his mind, guys. We're trying our best, but what? I'm so sorry. What can we do? Tim Walz on X posted, Minnesota has to come first, always. Today, I'm proud of the work we've done to make Minnesota the best place to live and raise kids from Somalia. I've decided to step out of the race and let others worry about the election while I focus on the work. Right, bro. That's what a true leader would do. Step out of a race. The honorable thing. He knows he's boned. Quote tweeted by Ember Paradox. So, a YouTuber exposes massive levels of fraud and potential government corruption in regard to Somali-run daycare and medical care centers. There is desperate pushback from the left and the government that is full of abject lies along with complete gaslighting. Tim Walz himself makes the statement that investigating this very probable fraud would be akin to white supremacy. The glorious internet autists come out of nowhere and start absolutely dunking on Walz and all of the SJA activists teeing against claims of fraud while also publicly admitting to fraud existing in press conferences and becoming horrified when they realized they just admitted it. Calling suspected fraudulent daycare center phone numbers reveals the calls are routed directly to the office of Governor Tim Walz. Tim Walz now claims he will no longer be seeking re-election to, quote unquote, focus on work, i.e. desperately trying to put together his golden parachute while also scrambling for his escape hatch. Yeah, you're not fooling no one, Tim. Gonna be a laugh riot when the FBI comes knocking on your door. And at some point, you gotta wonder, are they going to? Well, Nick Sorter, breaking. The Department of Justice is launching a criminal probe into tampon Tim Walz in relation to endless fraud he oversaw in Minnesota. Finally, Walz may soon be moving straight out of the governor's mansion and straight into a federal penitentiary. Now, before we listen to this clip, I want you to think just how close this entire country was to this icon of fraud being vice president of the most powerful country on planet Earth. Wow.
Does it surprise you what's happening with Tim Walz?
Unfortunately, it doesn't. The scale of the fraud that the Trump administration, with the help of great independent journalists like Nick Shirley, is uncovering right now is surely shocking. But President Trump has been calling out
Surely you can't be serious. Sorry.
Tim Walz for his incompetence and corrupt leadership for a very long time. And Trump was right about everything. This is another example of that, which is why Governor Walz is dropping out of the race for re-election today. This is a man who can no longer even win the support of the voters within his home state.
With all the people this guy bust in illegally, he still knows he can't get enough votes. Yikes. So he completely fucked Minnesota, leaving a mess for other people to clean up. And it still wasn't enough for him to garner enough votes for the future.
Because his policies have failed them. And now the great people of Minnesota, a state that was once known as the land of 10,000 lakes, has been turned into the land of 10,000 Somali schemes because of their governor. And don't forget, this is a guy who was at the top of the Democrat Party's ticket, the number 2. He was Kamala Harris's running mate just about a year ago until President Trump crushed them last November. And it was in large part because the president was calling out this fraud.
Just think, by the way, how close Trump was to being assassinated. Like, if he didn't turn his head, this was a very high likely outcome.
And so this has been a day one priority for the Trump administration, Jesse. The Department of Justice has convicted and prosecuted nearly 100 defendants in Minnesota. And because of these new details and this new reporting that has come to light, this is a all hands on deck across the entire government effort. We are surging resources. You saw today, the Department of Homeland Security announced we have nearly 2,000 agents from the Homeland Security Investigations Team. The FBI is on the ground, and we're freezing money. DHS cut off funding for child care centers and for daycares. USDA Secretary Rollins has been asking Governor Walz to see the recipients of SNAP in his state. So this is all hands on deck. Rest assured, it's a top priority for President Trump. And he believes that Governor Walz is criminally liable.
He is and should be held accountable for it. Trump deploys 2,000 agents to Minneapolis because for a little bit there, not going to lie, I was worried that Trump was just all talk. And I'm like, why aren't you doing anything? He's like, yeah, he needs to be arrested. He needs to go to prison. He needs to go away. I'm like, yeah, big words, Trump. What are you doing about it? Well, deploying 2,000 agents to Minnesota. That's definitely something.
And I think the Department of Justice is going to find out.
Well, they should, because it's too much money to lose. You can't say, oh, oops, I don't know where it went, especially when all of those whistleblowers going crazy and the AG there, Ellison, acting like he was running PR for these Somalians.
Like, it'd be one thing if it was another country. I'd just be rolling my eyes being like, what a mess. This is our country. This is our money being stolen from us within our own country. And it's not like $1 or $2. It's billions, potentially trillions of dollars. It's a lot of money.
So down in Venezuela, there's a lot of action. And
so that we'll leave that. We'll stop the Tim stuff there. That's the end of that area. This is Libs of TikTok. Tampon Tim appears alongside his daughter after dropping out of the 2026 race, claiming the Democrats will keep pushing a progressive agenda in Minnesota and that we haven't seen the last of them. Hopefully this means we will get to see more Minnesota fraud uncovered and Timmy prosecuted. So let's see how indoctrinated his daughter is. I have not seen this video yet.
Okay, we're on a typical.
All right, so she already looks like the girl from The Last of Us, gender confused already.
Midwestern morning run here. I am literally in all of my dad's things.
Okay, so she dresses like a dude.
I just brought leggings and a sports bra, so I like thrifted this sweatshirt in like high school. Anyways, by the time this video comes out, everybody will know that Tim is.
She's already got the crazy eyes like her mom too.
No longer running for governor, but he still has a year on the job. and is going to give it his all and do a lot of amazing.
Wait, he still has a year on the job? No, he doesn't. Yeah, you're assuming he's not going to be removed from his position in the next year? You think he's just going to be allowed to float there?
things, and I just wanted to let Tim talk to you guys.
Mark my words, before we even continue on this, mark my words, he will be removed from office before the end of his term. And you can quote me on that.
Hey everybody, glad to always get Hope home. Beautiful January day, beautiful run. We'll do a few miles. Just wanted to say how grateful I am to everybody out in Minnesota. Grateful for the 7 years and the year that's coming up to make Minnesota better. We're feeding our kids. We're lowering childhood poverty. We're addressing climate change. We started paid family and medical leave, the best in the country. And we treat our neighbors.
And all it is taking all the money from the people that are working hard every day and giving it to the people that are sitting on their ass every day. True communism.
Neighbors with respect and welcome people to this state. I need to focus on getting this job done. It's very clear that that's.
Is it me or do his eyebrows look like they have snow on them because they're so white?
It's not the focus of the White House. They do not care about Minnesota. It's about making Minnesota meaner.
No, they don't care about Minnesota. They care about the American people, you jackass.
And colder and just less friendly. So I'm going to focus on this. Rest assured, Democrats will win this seat. They will keep a progressive agenda. We will keep fighting against this.
What, bro? This what? The fraud that you're putting forward?
This White House and these unconstitutional acts. But
what did I say earlier? All projection, these unconstitutional acts. This guy who's been bussing in thousands upon thousands of Somalians and just spraying money out of helicopters to all of them. But no, guys, it's Trump in the White House. That's the problem.
I just want to say my gratitude for Minnesota. I never ran to get this job. I ran to do the job. And I want to do that job right now. And this means I get to spend more time with Hope, more time adventuring.
Gonna take some fun trips. We're already talking about it.
With what money? Where'd you get all that money, Tim? You able to retire now? Curious. Any kickbacks?
And I'm just getting started. I am now being let loose because of this, people.
And she's going to be devastated when she finds her father is actually in prison. She's going to be devastated. And she's going to turn into like one of those, what's that chick that's always getting arrested these days? The how dare you girl? She's going to turn into the next one of those. Mark my words.
So good luck, Donald Trump and all the Republicans, because you have not seen the last of me or him.
Yeah, so you can trust his daughter. She's definitely not biased at all when it comes to following him. Speaking of $1 trillion, Grums, $1 trillion in scams. And Elon left government because he felt it was unfixable. How did it get so bad? I really hope the robots and Mars plan works to lift us out of this, and we can find a way to get rid of these NGOs and government-funded daycares. That's a really quick 18-second clip to the $1 trillion biggest scam ever.
This is not something you ever sought out to do.
The biggest scam of all time ever.
Of human history.
Of human history, yes.
Wow. I think you're right.
Yeah.
What else
it's
could
probably
be better?
$1 trillion scam. There's never been $1 trillion scam.
So to be clear, he's not speaking directly to the daycare situation here, but he's talking about the Doge stuff where it's like all the money that they're seeing being wasted. This is before any of this other stuff. White House, President Donald J. Trump and his administration are unleashing a relentless assault to dismantle the massive fraud empires built in Minnesota under the watch of incompetent Democrats like Tim Walz and his radical left enablers. It's posted by the official White House account. Minnesota fraud. The Department of Justice is currently engaged in multiple active, ongoing, and extensive investigations into the fraudulent activity that has occurred in various Minnesota programs. The Department of Homeland Security is on the ground conducting door-to-door investigations of suspected fraud sites in Minnesota, with hundreds of Homeland Security investigations officers in the state and more on the way. So Trump is actually doing something about it, and we have more being done about it. This is from Nick Sorter. Breaking. Senator Eric Schmidt just announced he is introducing legislation to denaturalize Somali fraudsters. allowing for them to be deported. Hell yes. We have to push this one through. It's the best path to send these people back, which I got to be honest, I always say deport, 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 but I never think it actually is going to happen because nothing ever seems to happen. It actually might happen with this.
It's a pretty stunning development. And in fact, I'll be introducing some legislation to make it easier to denaturalize individuals who've committed this kind of fraud in our country. We need to go after this fraud. We need to have more tools to make sure this kind of fraud doesn't happen. But it's a really stunning development. I think it also tells you, Harris, that this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the Somali-based fraud that had to do with these daycare centers. There's all.
I will say too, doing more research on Somalia, it really is in the middle of bumfuck Egypt. Like it's so far away from anything, and it's so hard to get the people here from Somalia that it's actually like the perfect plan that Tim Walz and all his cronies devised to bring them here, because they knew once they came here, it's like, how the fuck do you get rid of them? Where do you even put them? There's not like a direct flight to Somalia. you gotta really like put a lot of work together to get them out of here once they're here.
Also a bunch of money that went out the door at the end of the Biden administration that had nothing to do with COVID, but it was under the auspices of these COVID funds. I think you're going to see another wave of fraud. So I think that's probably at the heart of why Tim Walz's demise here is headline news. But, you know, the other fraud that was perpetrated when he was picked as the running mate, he was supposed to be, you know, Governor Jazz Hands would come out on stage. He wasn't appealing to young men. I mean, this was the best they had to offer to deal with the fact that their party had completely tacked to the left over the last decade. And so Tim Walz is kind of the poster child, I think, for not only how out of touch the Democrats are, but how corrupt they are when they actually govern.
100%. Well said. And if I was in Minnesota right now, I would be ashamed at what happened to my state under my watch of living there. I'd be embarrassed. I'd be complete. Like, I don't care what side you vote on. What's transpired, I'd be embarrassed to be there. I'd be like, how did we let this happen? It's not a right or left thing. It's just a human, like, how the fuck did this happen to America? What are we doing here? Eric Doherty, breaking. It's official. President Trump just nuked $10 billion in federal funding for childcare and other welfare because of rampant fraud. Minnesota, California, Illinois, New York, and Colorado are officially cut off. I mean, where's Massachusetts on this too? FAFO, Trump meant it.
It's actually more from the United States because Minnesota puts in, and we're not going to pay it anymore. We're going to have Walz go pay. We're not going to pay them, and we're not going to pay California, and we're not going to pay Illinois with that big slob of a governor that they have that doesn't want, you know, we brought down crime by 25%. He didn't do anything. He's not doing anything. But they want us to leave.
By the way, once the funding gets cut off for these people, what's the next thing they're going to do? Crime. They're going to start stealing shit or doing worse things to people there. That's what always happens. That's why you don't do this. You don't bust these types of people in.
He had a day where they had 17 murders not too long ago. 17 murders and 77 people shot, but 17 died. And then he talks about, oh, we can handle it. He can't handle it. But we pull back and we'll go in at the appropriate time. But we're the ones that brought the crime down. We brought it down 20%.
Dare I say
that
Trump is the greatest president the United States has ever had? Is that insane to say at this point? Like, seriously. Eric Doherty, breaking. Up to 2,000 federal agents are now set to surge on Minneapolis to arrest illegal aliens and investigate massive fraud. Border Commander Greg Bovino will reportedly join them on the ground. This is huge. So she's covering for the people next door. So they're asking this convenience store, they're like, did you see any kids going in and out of that daycare next door? Oh, I don't know. I wasn't here yesterday. How about the day before that? It's just curious. Tony Suga, not so quick. Walz has worked out a scheme with Senator Amy Klobuchar. In the scheme, Senator Klobuchar would run for governor and upon winning would resign her U.S. Senate seat to become governor of Minnesota. And as governor, would have the authority to make an appointment to fill the resulting vacancy in her former Senate seat. appointing Tim Walz. Is that how it works? Tina Smith became the junior U.S. Senator from Minnesota through gubernatorial appointment following a vacancy. In late 2017, Senator Al Franken faced multiple allegations of sexual misconduct and announced his intention to resign. My goodness, these Democrats. On December 13th, 2017, Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton appointed his then Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith to fill the seat temporarily. This followed Minnesota law, which allows the governor to appoint a temporary replacement for U.S. Senate vacancies until a special election. Franken officially resigned January 2nd, 2018, and Smith was sworn in January 3rd. She then ran in 2018 special election, held alongside the regular midterms, and won, completing the remainder of Franken's term and ending in 2021. Smith was reelected to a full 6-year term in 2020, with her current term ending January 3rd, 2027. Note, Tina Smith has announced she will not seek re-election in 2026, so at least one seat will be open in November 2026 as of January 5th. Both Klobuchar and Smith are still in office. So, yikes. There's that situation. David Marcus, Tim Walz will go down in history as little more than an avatar of white guilt. The weak, apologetic eunuch of white guy that progressives would have our sons become. But today, our sons can clearly see that the real lesson is don't be that guy. And we'll leave it at this. Il Donald Trumpo, who's been crushing it with these AI parodies. Stop it.
Hey guys, it's Tampon Tim. I just want to let y'all know I won't be seeking re-election. I got a nice job offer from Tampax, to help them develop male tampons and shit like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that before all this Somali fraud shit blows up in my face and Trump sends in the National Guard in the middle of the night to arrest me and my crazy liberal bitch wife, the one with the crazy eyes. Anyway.
The crazy eyes got passed on to his daughter, by the way. Yikes.
We had a good run. Oh, and FYI, Kamala is an alcoholic and she's completely retarded. Toodaloo.
Oh, man. It's amazing. But yeah, that's the situation with Tim Walz. What a complete shit show. Again, he's not going to make it to the end of his term. And I have a feeling that he's going to be in prison within the next 12 months. If there's any justice in this world. We'll see. But for now, I'll leave that there.